Went to Oxford at age 12. Let that settle in on you for a moment. Back then people did go young, like between 15, 16. But 12, he was prodigious. Remembering that in Oxford, you took your classes in Latin, Hebrew, and Greek. The classes were all taught in Latin. That's the language of scholarship. And you had to learn these, what they call the Oriental languages, in your first few semesters. So he earned his Bachelor of Arts in 1632 and his Master of Arts in 1635. At 16 years of age, he's got a BA, and at 19 years of age, he's got an MA. He's precocious in his studies and committed himself to sleeping only 4 hours an evening while he's in school. Not a good idea. Don't do that. In fact, Owen later in life writes about resenting that he made that decision. He was so prodigious and precocious and committed and disciplined, he cut his sleeping short and he paid for it. Of course, his physical health declined. He suffered the lingering effects. In fact, he would soon, later on in his life, he would declare often that he would willingly part with his learning, all of his learning, that he'd accumulated by the means of being stingy with sleep, if he might but just recover his health, which he'd lost by gaining that learning. It's a good lesson for those of us. No matter how prodigious you are or how gifted you are, sleep is part of God's rhythm and pattern for life. He began studying his DD, that's a Doctor of Divinity, but Lordism was beginning to cross the country, squeezing nonconformists out of educational institutions and public office. I'll explain that. So firstly, the DD degree you don't really see anymore. It's a Doctor of Divinity. When you see a DD today, it's almost exclusively an honorary degree. But there was a time when it was the doctorate that you could earn. There was really only 2, maybe 3 doctorates you could earn when universities were starting to emerge in kind of medieval Europe. France and Oxford and Cambridge were among the earliest ones. And when these universities began to emerge, you would be a doctor, which kind of meant you're a teacher. You're someone who could command and be an expert in a specific field. You could do it in medicine, you could do it in divinity, or you could do it in philosophy. That's it. You made your choice, you selected your area of expertise and you committed to that. And of course the philosophy doctorate now is a PhD, and sadly a medical doctorate is only a master's degree these days, but that's had quite a decline. We'll leave that subject.